what I'd like to do then is I'd like to introduce you to Claire Thompson, who's going to talk to us about her experience in energy healing, intuitive communication, enrichment, acupressure, and IM. I'm sure you're going to see. It sounds a bit like a rapper, I think, Claire, but I'm sure you'll
Yes.
explain a little bit more as we go.
Okay. Yes.
So, welcome, Claire. Thank you so much. And we can't wait to hear all about these incredible, interesting elements of animal care. So, thank you. I'm going to share your slides if you'd like me to. So,
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Thank you. And thank you very much for inviting me to talk about these.
oh, absolutely. So, we've all got something to learn. So, here we go. You're on. Tell me when you want me to flip.
Okay, so yes, I'm Claire Thompson from Claire Thompson Animal Stories. So if we can move on to the next slide. And what I do, so I work with energy healing, animal self-medication, and animal acupressure. So energy healing is, if you've heard of Reiki, it's the same thing. It's an intention to connect with a human or an animal and create a safe space for them to for their parasympathetic nervous system to kick in for relaxation. It's to allow them space to heal. Animal self-medication is where there's been 30 years of research of animals in the wild and what they choose to self-medicate themselves. And so that's being brought into the conservation side and domestic animals to help them choose what they can't in the wild. So we've taken away what they would be doing for themselves and bringing it in. So IM is actually the Ingraham method of innate medicine. So that's the animal. They know what they need. They know the amounts that they need. So it's allowing them to choose so that they can self-medicate and heal themselves. Animal acupressure is the same as human acupressure. So we have the points in our bodies which relate to different organs, and we can use these pressure points to alleviate certain issues. I don't think we're going to be trying this with any of the sun bears, I have to say, but it's another skill that I like to use for domestic animals and equines. Why am I doing this? Because I believe that it can really make a difference with the tools that you can see, and it's not something that makes me special, because we could all do this. It's about learning how to do this and how we can help the animals in a different way. And I really believe that with these, we can make a difference, and we can give them a voice to find more peace from stressful situations. So if we move on to the next slide. So I hope I won't be repeating myself too much. So yeah, again, benefits for the bears, relaxation. With the sun bears, obviously, they're in a situation where ideally they would be in the wild, climbing trees like Tina. So they've come from very stressful situations in some cases. And what I'd like to do with these tools is help them become more at ease with where they are, to help them deal with that emotional stress of those transitions, which we will see more of in some future slides. And again, it's about creating a space for them to, on an energetic level, to connect with us. The bears get the best care with their bear keepers, and they understand the bears. And this is just about bringing a different level to that communication and really tuning in with observation, looking for, tiny subtle changes when we're working with energy healing. Like, do they have sleepy eyes? Are they staring off into space? we're watching for those signs that they're really lowering their energy. And by doing so intuitively, we can kind of connect to what's going on. So for me, I can pick up a feeling in my body. So it might be a pain in my stomach, or in another area of my body, or I might get a word that pops into my head, or a sound, or a vision. So these these things can help us express what the bear might not be able to, with their keepers, and it's really interesting to see how they respond. Some bears are completely open to energy healing, and some of them are really quite shut down. So it's going to take some time for them to be able to get to that level where they feel comfortable to communicate with us. And also the bear care team enjoy, from what they've told me, they enjoy coming in and seeing that connection and learning about those things. So if we can go to the next slide. Thank you. So the process with the bears is that I like to get information when I arrive. So I speak to Dr. Boone, the vet, and in this particular picture, she gave me a list of 12 bears. This was my first visit. And we didn't have a lot of time, so we have about 2.5 hours per afternoon, where the bear house is relatively quiet, and that's a time when they get their enrichments as well. But that's the time that I would go in. So knowing that there's 12 bears to see, possibly more, we have to kind of work out who would be on a priority list, who would be more preferential for us to see. And sometimes it's good to do several sessions with them, because you can see changes during that time. So a session will always begin with orange blossom water. So this comes from the self-medication side, but can also be used to help with the energy healing, because orange blossom water smells amazing, but it also is really relaxing for a bear, and the same with rose water. Valerian is the stinkiest smell I have ever come across. It's almost as bad as garlic. Garlic's a different kind of strong smell, but valerian is smelly feet, basically. It's smelly feet in water, and you can get valerian in water. You can have it as the essential oil extract, which is more potent, and you can also buy valerian root. And all of these just absolutely stink, but every bear loves them. They really, really enjoy that. And valerian is also very, very relaxing for the bears. So this is how a session starts. So it's like a nice introduction to say, oh, we're here, we bring peace, and and you can feel relaxed. Quite often with all the bears that we see, I'll have a cloth, which is 100% cotton. We always use that to put some of the oils on, or the water, and they will take it through the bars, and they like to have a sniff. Sometimes they like to rub it on their heads, and then they might sit on them. I can't explain why they sit on the cloth, but that seems to be quite a common thing. So, okay, if we can move to the next slide. So in the next few slides, I'm just going to go through some of the bears and the experiences that we had. So the bear care team will always assign a keeper with me, and Dr. Boone the vet will be with me as well, and sometimes the bear care coordinators. So usually there's 2 or 3 of us with each bear, and so that they can learn what the bears are selecting and how they're feeling as well. So yeah, if we just move on to the next slide, we can start with Amako. So Amako, I believe, is the oldest bear at the moment. I think he's 30 years old now. and he's a beautiful bear. In this picture, these pictures have been offering minerals, because he's been offered essential oils before, and when we're in the bear house, he likes to like sway on his feet quite a lot. When I didn't find a way to try and break that, so what we're trying to do is like lessen those learned behaviors that they might have adopted to be able to cope. So for my second visit, we offered the minerals spirulina, barley grass, licorice root. I'll explain coconut oil in a moment. So he has 4 trays, and this is like the self-selection principle, which is fascinating to watch. So the very top tray actually has spirulina in. The second tray down has barley grass. And then you've got licorice root, which has actually got a little bit of coconut oil around it. And then you've got a tray with just coconut oil. If we look at the picture on the right hand side, the top picture, you can see Ariko's actually pushing the barley grass away. So he walked into the enclosure, and he was like, he looked at the spirulina, and he looked at the barley grass, and he was like, don't want those. And he moved on to the licorice root. So he knew what he wanted for his body. He's not walking in and just eating everything. He made that choice, and by making that choice, he's also telling us what he might be supporting within his body. We're not trying to diagnose anything, but we're looking for clues to say how an animal's feeling. With the licorice root, you offer it dry, but you offer it with a bit of coconut oil as well, so they can make the choice on what strength they would like the powder. Okay, so they can dampen the strength down by licking the coconut oil as well, or they take it dry for more potency. Amako also chose coconut oil on its own. And afterwards, after his selections, he spent a lot of time grooming. So he was licking his front legs, and we don't actually know yet why animals do that after they've been through their self-selection process. But he seemed very calm, and he'd stop pacing or swaying from side to side, and he took himself off to the back of the enclosure and like carried on having a clean. It's just, why do I do this? Because it's so good to see the animal benefit from, or break a habit, even if it's for a few moments, and see that somehow this is making a difference. The other thing was, sometimes he likes to nibble on his poop, and he wasn't nibbling on his poop either. So that was interesting to watch. Coconut oil can be has many uses. So it can be, like, I suppose, a kind of carrier oil. So you can, if you're offering licorice root like a powder, or I think devil's claw is the other one, you can mix it with that, and it's not too heavy on their internal organs. So it's a really useful oil. It can also be selected on its own for like antifungal purposes. So if we move on to the next one, Along is a very, very interesting bear. He's massively imprinted on me. He keeps popping into my head, and he makes me smile a lot. And these bears that I'm going along, it's more about the self-medication at the moment rather than the energy healing, because we need to lower that. We need to lower their energy in order for the energy healing to be able to connect with them. Because if their energy is too high, it makes it very difficult for the energy work to kind of lower them even more to where they need to be. So with the self-medication, it's like taking a first step into bringing that energy down. And with Along, he's nicknamed Angry Bear. But I don't get that impression from him. I just like, he makes me smile. But to be fair, my first visit with him was it was very interesting because he was a bit angry. We offered him orange blossom water, which he absolutely loves. And he had his cloth and he sniffs it and he sits on it, and he would go away from the front of the enclosure, and he would come back, and that's a sign that he wants more. He wants something else. So we were working with different, we call them yellow oils, so sunshine oils, like I'm trying to think, Melissa, anything that's kind of sunshine based, the orange, sweet orange, as well as orange blossom, neroli, which is a similar oil. But I didn't quite understand him on my first visit, because he would actually get quite angry, and he would shake the enclosure bars, and he would put his foot in his mouth. And then he would take a break and he would look at my oil case as if to say, like, what's in there? I want something. And I left a bit upset, because I was like, he's trying to communicate with me and I don't understand him. So on my second visit in December, I realized that actually the way he was processing information was to shake bars, but he wasn't as aggressive this time. He was offered the same oils, the orange blossom oil, that seems to be like his go-to. I offered a pain remedy as well, and he kind of walked away. He got frustrated, put his foot in his mouth. At this point, I kind of realized that maybe this is his way of processing, because he wasn't as angry as he was from my first visit in May. So although he was doing some of the same behaviors, it was less intense. So I felt like I created a bridge with him. And I think when I go back in May this year, we should see a difference again with him. He's a really hard bear to read. Like, you can't say like, this is exactly what's going on. So it will be interesting to see, what the next visit brings, what he chooses, whether he's still choosing the joy and the sunshine oils. Okay, next. Kudat was really interesting as well. So he sometimes plucks his fur. And the team are unsure as to why he's doing it. So we were trying to find out what was going on. He really loved all the really smelly oils. Like valerian was one of his favorites. Garlic was his absolute. He as you can see from these pictures, he has them on the cloth. We put the smell on the oil on the cloth, and he took it, and he was wrapping it around his head. He was kind of almost, like when you're in the shower with a loofah. He was doing that with the towel, and I'm unsure as to why he's trying to apply it topically. He did smell the oils. And he did also ingest garlic as well, and cloves. So while I was working with him, Dr. Boone was with me, and she said, "Oh, can you pick anything up?" And with him, I did actually get a pain in my stomach, which led us to offer him the oils that would support his microbiome, the gut, and hopefully that might lead to understanding a bit more. Is something going on internally that's causing him to pluck his fur? So but he was really interesting. it was a very definitive of like leading you down this route of the choices that he wanted to make. Okay. And this is Noah. So Noah has 4 different sized paws, and the team were really confused as to what was going on. Why has Noah got different sized paws? And I offered him calendula CO2, which comes in a small jar, and he ingested nearly all of it, which was really interesting. He was offered also pain remedies, and he wasn't interested in the pain. He was choosing for the inflammation, and also for the carrot seed for internal repair. And yeah, so I think he's gone on, he's had some x-rays, so I think the team understand what's going on. And I know there is I think all the bears have been health checked as well recently, so it'd be interesting to see what comes back from that. Okay. And this is Kukutan. Kukutan is the bear that is most open to energy healing. So on my first visit, I did work with him energetically, and he just took himself off to he has like a hammock, and he took himself off to his hammock, and he lay down with his head on his paws. And he's a really sweet bear, but he didn't make friends very well at first, and he was always staring into the sky. But now he has a friend called Rudy, and I do believe he's with the new bear Kwong. But Kwong, the dynamics between Kwong, Rudy, and Kukutan are quite different. So Kukutan was in an enclosure with Kwong and offered valerian, which is, as you can see, which is very calming. And this was the effect after Kukutan had inhaled a very large dose of valerian. He kind of just like lay on his back, looking at his feet and like staring off into the world. But he also chose vanilla, which makes sense because he is a quiet, sensitive bear. And at the moment, or I think previously, Rudy didn't like that Kwong was with Kukatong, so she was quite like, Kukatong's my friend, but Kukatong's not allowed to be friends with anybody else type thing. And she would get a bit cross with him, even though they were in different enclosures. So yeah, the dynamics are really interesting there, and I think this, just helps him process that. Okay, the next one. So so this is Rudy, who I was just talking about, and we, based on what I was told by the team, she was offered some enrichments and the following oils, because I kind of thought that maybe something was going on hormonally that was making her like say, oh, Kukuton's mine, and Kwong, if you talk to him, I don't like that. And what this resulted in was Kwong being really interested in what was going on. So I ended up working with the 2 bears, and eventually they both climbed up where you can see Rudy is in the top picture. Kwong is actually the other side, and Kwong and Rudy started having the communicating, saying hello to each other without any aggression. And then after Rudy's session, we can see here that she's really chilled out, which is what we want. And I forgot to say on the previous slide with Along, is the surprise in the second time I saw him in December was that he was in his basket, and I went to work with him. I sprayed some orange blossom on the bars, and he came down and he sniffed the oil, and he looked at my case of oils, and he went back to his basket. And in the other 3 sessions I'd had with him, that hadn't happened. So to see them when they're, you know, they find that peace is so so humbling, and it makes, you know, it means that we're reaching them on a level. Okay, I think, yeah, so the feedback is the instant relief that the team see. And they're interested in the energy healing, which is really nice. So we can say, you know, your energy, if your energy is really high, then that's going to come across to the bears. If we bring our energy down, then that makes for a calming environment as well. Not that the bear carriers are like high in energy; they're very calm people. So that's just one of the things that with the energy healing we bring across. The instant relief with the self-medication. Medication helps over time, but it's not instant. And the new methods that we can bring to the team to help. So yes. My future plans, I'd love to understand more about how we can help rescue animals in conservation, and yeah, try and break some of those coping mechanisms that they have, so that they can live their best lives, because a lot of them, as we can see, don't have the opportunity that Teenham does to go and live wild. So it's about making the best experience as we can by breaking these habits and maybe making it peaceful for them. And yeah, I just to carry, to help as many animals as possible. I think is definitely key. You know, on the next slide, we see that, you know, the question is, can this help animals in other settings? Yes, the only limitations are the physiology of the animal. You know, we have to look at their history, what plants they were exposed to. But energy healing is fantastic, from that you can do this anywhere. You know, we can do energy healing for myself to Sarah, or, you know, it doesn't matter how far we are apart, we're all connected. And so the different modalities can be used in different situations, and obviously safety is always key. And where needed, we have to, the vets are involved as well. So we're not taking away from traditional care, we're just adding an extra layer to the excellent care that the animals already get. Thank you. I hope that was informative for everybody, and I have to say a big thank you to Dr. Wong and the team, obviously, for allowing me access to the bears and being able to learn with them.
Thank you.
No, thank you for helping us come all the way. You know, we really appreciate it, because, you know, we have a lot of bears, and obviously they are going to, unfortunately, they are not going to, you know, many of our bears are not going to be released. So this kind of help is really important to enrich their life. And I do not enjoy seeing wildlife in captivity, but in the case like our case, we have no choice but to take care of them, and we want to improve their life and their welfare, and as much as we could, and I cannot do them all. I need people like you to come and help us. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. It's a humbling experience.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that too, Claire. I learned so much. So thank you so much. This idea of self choosing their medication is something quite new for me, and it's just incredible that animals know what they need, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think you know, and it's being brave with the fact that they know what dosage they need, they know what they need to choose. So it is incredibly fascinating.
Yeah. Who else has questions for Claire? I'm sure there's some burning in there. We've got a few comments from Penny. Penny, did you want to share those comments? Do you want to talk about those comments, or what were you thinking?
Hi everyone, thank you, Claire. That was amazing. I'm so impressed with the work you're doing. The bears are obviously loving it. So it's fantastic. I just thought there were a couple of times where you said, I'm not quite sure why the animal's doing this particular thing. So I just shared my experiences and understanding from it as a cognitive ethologist, just in case that was interesting to anybody. Understanding, interpreting animal behavior is so very important for knowing how we can optimize how we look after them. So that's a big part of the work I do. But everything's still our best guess, using, as you say, all the clues in front of us and assimilating that information to come up with the most likely scenario. But really, animals are not as complicated as humans. They're much more truthful, if you like, their behavioral expression. So we might layer all kinds of subtle meanings and inference with when we're trying to interpret something that a human's doing, but really when it comes to the animals, they're largely telling us the truth, and so that cuts through a lot of the red tape sometimes.
That's great. Those are great comments. Thank you. Belinda, do you find that some of that resonates with you because you're working with domestic animals all the time?
Yeah, so I'm a vet nurse, and yeah, definitely some of the things that she said there.
Yeah, makes some little light bulbs going off. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
That was just magnificent and really good to stretch our understanding of animal care. So thank you so much for that. Is there anyone else who'd like to share with us what they've been doing this month? What's been going on? No, we've got some shy people in the room. All right, I'll pick on you all then. Jenny, what's been going on with you?
I'm just busy writing grant applications and organising festivals, but I did have to extend National Science Week authors in schools to add in another author for a couple of days because the first week just got booked out so quickly. So I added in Yvonne Mess, who's got a new book coming out called Opal Dinosaur.
Oh, lovely. That's a good one.
Well
done.
It's not coming out till August, so that'll just fit in really well with Science Week.
Excellent. Spencer, you've got a bit of news to share because last night wasn't a very positive one for you, was it?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, that was really interesting, Claire. Yeah, as you said, Sarah, I have got a bit of news. As to what I've been doing in the last kind of month, I've been speaking down at a Bob Brown Foundation rally down in Sydney to end native forest logging. I went down to Melbourne to speak at the sustainability conference with Costa, Anne Jones, Tish King. I spoke at an animal rights forum as well down in Melbourne too, and I've been visiting all different places on the way back from there that local communities are trying to protect, and that was really incredible as well. And then
last night you had a bit of a back step, I guess, because the
it's actually it's bad, but it's also good because it's the wrong thing that they've done, and hopefully they will hopefully learn that they shouldn't be doing things like this off it. So basically the Uniting Church, who I've been trying to stop their development at Grass Tree Court, Sunrise Beach for the past 6 years, have destroyed Lot 9 and Lot 6. So Lot 9 was destroyed a few months ago now before Christmas, and the final parts of that were destroyed, and that's 5.8 hectares. So once they destroyed that habitat, they've been starting to do retaining walls and get the area ready to build, basically. And just not last night, the night before, we went down to the back of Grass Tree Court. We're actually frogging in the back of the Wallam because there's some incredible Wallam froglets down there breeding at the moment, and Wallam sedge frogs, which are threatened species. And while we were down there looking for them and I was trying to photograph them, they're actually as big as your fingernail. So they're really hard to spot and really incredible. And while we were down there, I saw two huge, big industrial pipes that were basically pumping water from the building site on Lot 9 straight into National Park, which is not good at all because that is such a well-balanced ecosystem. It's hanging on a knife's edge. That's what the Queensland government has said. And really, they are not allowed to dump their waste
What can we
from
do
their
to
building
help,
site.
Spencer?
What was that, Sarah?
What can we do to help?
Yeah, so what you can do is to write letters. So you can write to Leanne Linnard, who is the Queensland State Minister for the Environment, and also to Noosa Shire Council. So I can put their contact details in the chat if you would like, and also all the info and my video is on Facebook and Instagram, Save Sunrise Glossies as well. Yeah.
Thank you. If you can put those in, that would be really, really helpful. Maybe we can extra things, extra letters in that direction. That'd be fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, they are investigating it, so hopefully that gets done properly. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all right. Thank you for sharing. And thanks for the work that you're doing. You're incredible, Spencer. Anyone else got anything they've done this week or month that they would like to share? No? Okay, with that then, we'll wrap up this meeting and I hope to see you next month. I'll let you know as soon as I can who the speaker will be. It will be one of those people I introduced to you earlier, but we're not quite sure who can make that time frame. So I'll keep you posted, and thank you so much for being here today. It's an absolute pleasure to see you, and let's keep in touch and see how we can collaborate in the future on all sorts of different projects. Claire, well done. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.